Hey everybody, Nick Espinosa, your chief security fanatic here, and today we actually have to talk about Ukraine again because obviously it's raging in the news, but from a different angle because cyber criminals are using the Ukraine disaster, the invasion by Russia, and Ukraine relief efforts to essentially steal money from donors, people that actually want to help Ukraine and support their cause. Now, here's what's going on. This is coming from Cyberscoop, and I think it's an important lesson for everybody. Essentially, criminals will not let a good disaster go to waste if they think they can extract money, no matter how awful it makes them look, especially when we're seeing things like human rights being violated. And so here we go. And here's what's going on. Ukraine and charities supporting the nation have turned to soliciting cryptocurrency donations during this invasion. Now, Ukraine's gamble on cryptocurrencies has actually worked. If you didn't know, within a week of launching wallets to receive donations directly, the Ukrainian government raised more than $50 million worth of cryptocurrency. And in a country where you can't go to ATMs right now, extract actual hard cash and those kinds of things, cryptocurrency, and because the internet has mostly remained online in Ukraine, intelligence reports estimate that the Russians need to use it as well. Cryptocurrency becomes a very valuable commodity in a war zone. But here's the thing. The innovative means of fundraising have also introduced the opportunity for cyber criminals to scam the bejesus out of everybody and essentially get their cut. Now, Ukraine announced last week that it would send free tokens of a new government-sponsored cryptocurrency as an incentive to donors. Basically, they were going to start their own cryptocurrency, but they ultimately scrapped those plans. However, not before a group pretending to represent the company took advantage of this confusion and basically set up their own token called Peaceful World. Now, this con actually had success, according to Tom Robinson. He's the co-founder and chief scientist at Elliptic. This is a cryptocurrency compliance company, and the value of that coin skyrocketed to $180 million within a week, meaning well-meaning people thought the Ukrainian government had set this up. They were going to buy and invest in this. Obviously, that exploded the price, but it had nothing to do with Ukraine, and scammers walked away with $180 million. Now, on top of this, researchers at Infoblox observed purchases of another token called Save Ukraine through suspicious Ukraine-themed domains or websites set up around the time of the invasion, including one website meant to look like a decentralized anonymous organization that was set up by Russian activists. Now, donations scams are also running rampant on Twitter and Telegram, according to multiple experts. Now, Mr. Robinson has seen more than a dozen scams on Twitter where users pose as verified organizations, and in other words, they look like the actual organization, but they don't have that little blue check mark, and people don't know the difference. But they're doing that so that they can solicit donations for specific crypto addresses. And I quote Mr. Robinson, "It's a very common type of crypto scam that has been repurposed to exploit Ukraine fundraising." Again, don't let a good disaster go to waste if you're a criminal. And here we are. We saw this through COVID. We've seen it through other things as well. But obviously the focus here on cryptocurrency, because Ukraine is in a war zone and cryptocurrency is a valid currency there, specifically in these times, there you go. Now, Telegram, basically, it's a known hunting ground for cryptocurrency scammers, also saw an uptick in accounts themed around Ukraine right before and after Russia invaded. And obviously, here we are again. Now, according to Brittany Allen, she is the trust and safety architect at fraud protection company Sift. They're saying that scams fall into three buckets that they are observing. Users pretending to be in need of donations, users pretending to be companies collecting donations, and offers to help others create fake donation websites. Now, one of the channels that Ms. Allen observed, it was, and I quote, Ukraine support donation. And it tried to show its legitimacy by posting screenshots of emails from Coinbase noting new donations in another channel. And for the record, those accounts were essentially empty when you go and look at the actual transaction logs, according to Cyberscoop. Now, in another channel, a user posted basically as a trading platform known as Binance, and they were collecting donations with the account Binance Support. Clicking on that account showed that it was actually registered as Binance Support, one word, and also missing one P, and is not actually Binance or Binance Support, Binance being a legitimate cryptocurrency company. Now, cyber criminals obviously aren't limited to social media, because multiple cybersecurity outfits have noticed an uptick in email scams. We always see those where hackers pose as legit charities to solicit cash or Bitcoin. Organization scammers have impersonated everything, including legitimate Act for Peace, UNICEF, and Ukraine Crisis Relief Fund, as well as Catholic charities. That's not mentioned in Cyberscoop, but I've seen scams that look like Catholic charities. They've been very heavily involved in the Ukraine situation as well, and that is according to research outfit UNICEF, Ukraine Crisis Relief, and Act for Peace. That is according to research from Bitdefender. Now, cybersecurity firm Cofense also found one cryptocurrency donation scam targeting users with a spoofed email from the Ukraine Red Cross Society. So these are things that we have to look out for. Understand that so many people want to donate. So many people want to do their thing for it. A lot of organizations have matching funds for their employees, meaning if you donate X amount of dollars, your employer will match that, and then that whole thing will go from your employer to a legitimate company. There are also legitimate organizations out there, as I mentioned, like, there's Catholic Charities, there's UNICEF, there's Ukraine Crisis Relief Fund, Act for Peace. I recently interviewed the president of the Ukraine American Congress Committee, and essentially he was saying that obviously they're Ukrainian. They're taking basically 100% of these funds and moving it in country because they are actual Ukrainians. They're not a third-party organization. This is their home, even if they're living abroad. So there are a lot of legitimate organizations out there. So the advice is simply this. A lot of you out there have no idea what cryptocurrency is or how to really use it, or you might have some idea of it, but you really don't do anything with it, and you may want to donate money. So make sure that you are going to legitimate sources, actually to the UNICEFs and the Ukraine Crisis Relief Funds and all of those of the world. If you're getting emails, you've got to double check them. Is that email coming from an actual website, actual link that is to that charity, or is it something else? Meaning, is it misspelled? Is it labeled on something else? We have to be very careful as we are going through this, because while Ukraine needs our help, they need everything from weapons to airplanes to no-fly zones to donations to food to medical supplies, everything else. We have to make sure that we are keeping on top of these things, because, like I said, there is no crisis that criminal hackers and criminals in general won't take advantage of to scam you, because they recognize you have this sense of urgency, you have this sense of desire to help, you're a good person, and by virtue of that, you are trusting, oh my God, it's UNICEF emailing me, I was going to donate to somewhere, might as well be them, and you're not actually doing that. So please make sure that you are watching for these things, whether it's on social media like Facebook, Twitter, whatever. If you're on Telegram, the messaging app, there's a lot going on in there, but also make sure email as well. We see a ton of email scams. Our spam filters have been increasing in catching spam as these things are flying around, and it's a huge, huge problem. So that is your news of the day. Obviously, good luck Ukraine, but make sure that as you are donating to Ukraine or you're trying to help Ukraine, you're doing it from legitimate sources and in legitimate ways. The last thing you want to do is pay some Russian criminal to rip you off. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please stay private. Thanks, everyone.